This is KGW News at Sunrise.
I don't know how to pump my own gas. So,
For the first time in 70 years, Oregonians could be pumping their own gas. Now that the Senate has passed a self-serve gas bill, we're breaking down what could change at the pump.
And time is running out. It's been 4 days since that submersible took a deep dive to explore the Titanic with 5 people on board. Now it's believed they're out of air. We have the latest this morning on what happens next now that the vessel has likely run out of oxygen.
And we are also live this morning in Southeast Portland. That is right, one man on board one milk carton boat. We are getting ready for the annual Royal Rosarians milk carton boat races. As the crack of dawn arrives, we are already on the water, but we have a slew of people who are joining us here this morning to preview this year's races. Westmoreland Park Casting Pond, our location gang, will have more from these seaworthy vessels. Made entirely by milk cartons, by the way. That story continues here, coming up at 5:15.
Oh my goodness. Look at those legs.
Yeah.
He's looking good this morning. Thank you, Drew. Looking forward to that. Happy first full day of summer.
Yeah, I thought a moment he was tipping, but
don't say it.
But then he wasn't.
Don't jinx
so
it.
Everything's okay.
Yeah, he's okay for now.
Yeah, first full day of summer begins like this. Here's a view from our Wells Fargo camera. I do not expect low cloudiness this morning. Yesterday, some of you had low clouds, some of you didn't. I think everybody just gets going with sunshine on this Thursday, and we'll keep it. 58 is the early morning number. The batch of air is warming up, and you'll notice it. Yesterday it was 79 for a high, by the way. Today's 73 at noon, and we burst well up into the 80s. I have us at 87 this afternoon. I am tracking a storm threat tomorrow. I'll show you Futurecast coming up in just a bit.
Okay, thank you, Rod. Right now, a submersible missing since Sunday in the North Atlantic is believed to have run out of oxygen, with 5 passengers still inside. The group was on an underwater excursion headed to the wreckage of the Titanic. Aboard are 4 men and 1 of their teenage sons. One of those men is the CEO of OceanGate. That's the Seattle-based company conducting the tours. Devin Haskins is live in studio with us this morning with the very latest on that search effort. Devin, what can you tell us?
Yeah, good morning, Christine. It's estimated that the submersible had a 96-hour supply of oxygen, which the Coast Guard predicts would have ran out just after 4 o'clock this morning. And that's if all 5 on board are still in good health. The supply could last longer if any are suffering from hypothermia, which then creates another danger. On Wednesday, crews expanded the search area after Canadian crew heard underwater noises. That search area, 10,000 square miles. It's twice the size of Connecticut, and crews are diving 2.5 miles deep. The vessel, with 5 men inside, has been missing since Sunday, less than 2 hours after it began a journey to explore the wreckage of the Titanic. On the Today Show this morning, a Coast Guard official says they're still holding out hope that this is still a rescue mission.
We are fully committed to prosecuting the search and rescue efforts. We spoke with the Unified Command last night, and teams are working really hard through the night to bring all available capability to bear on this. With the new capability that we have in the search rescue efforts this morning, we're going to continue searching throughout the day for this.
And over the next day or two, the number of ships scanning the surface is expected to double from 5 to 10. Just this morning, the U.S. Coast Guard reporting on Twitter that a Canadian remotely operated vehicle has reached the seafloor to start searching, and a French ROV has also entered the water. They joined 2 underwater drones. Brenda?
All right, Devin, tough update, but thank you so much. Keep us posted. For the first time in 70 years, Oregonians are now 1 signature away from pumping their own gas. If Governor Tina Kotek signs this bill, it'll take effect immediately. Here's Catherine Cook with the changes you can expect.
Oregonians are pumped.
We've been not pumping our gas for a pretty long time, so it's like a really big change for us.
Lawmakers Wednesday pushed House Bill 2426 through the Senate with bipartisan support. It gives all Oregonians the option of pumping their own gas for the first time since 1951. Back then, gas was 27 cents a gallon. And moments like this?
I don't know how to pump my own gas.
Priceless.
So yeah, I'm going to have to learn.
Change can be hard.
sometimes I do get lazy, so I want people to pump my own gas, so I think it's going to make me have to get out of the car and pump my own gas.
But only if she wants to. If signed into law, the bill won't eliminate attendance. Gas stations must keep half their pumps available for attendants to serve customers who want help. And stations can't offer discounts to customers who pump their own gas.
I really don't see any negatives with this.
Gabriel Zirkle is VP of WSCO Petroleum. They own 50 gas stations in Oregon and Washington. He says many have been struggling to keep their stations staffed. He hopes allowing customers to pump their own gas will give them flexibility to do more with less.
Any plans to lay off any employees because of what this bill will change?
No, we don't. We actually plan on continuing to hire more. I've got a for hire sign at every one of my locations. If you want a job, come see me.
Fred Simmons is an attendant at this Chevron near PSU. He says when they're short-handed, many customers want the option to help themselves.
It will help. And even still, when it's busy and they impatient, they'll get out and do their own anyway.
In 2017, Oregon lawmakers agreed to let the public pump their own gas at night in rural and coastal counties. And over the last 3 years, Oregon's fire marshal has allowed that freedom during wildfires and heat waves. So perhaps the time has finally come for this. But can it be done?
48 other states have proven that we can do it in a safe and effective manner.
Apparently so. Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Two bills at the crux of the 6-week Republican-led walkout in the Senate moved through the House yesterday. House Bill 2002 was amended in order to end the Senate walkout. The version that passed provides stronger abortion rights and requires insurance to cover procedures and services supporting people whose gender identity is different than their sex at birth. The compromise made in the Senate requires parental permission for abortions for those under 15 years old, but allows a medical professional to bypass parental consent if they think the child is unsafe at home. The House also passed a new gun regulation bill that outlaws untraceable firearms, also called ghost guns. Because Democrats compromised in the Senate, House Bill 2005 no longer raises the age to buy most guns from 18 to 21. It also scraps a push by Democrats to give cities the right to ban concealed carried weapons in public buildings. Both bills are now headed to Governor Tina Kotek's desk.
Big night for basketball fans. The NBA draft starts at 5 o'clock. We're going to find out what the Blazers do with their number 3 pick. The player to watch, that guy right there, Scoot Henderson, a 6'2" point guard out of the G League. But Portland could also trade their pick for a veteran to help out Damian Lillard right now. He has publicly said he's not interested in drafting a young player to develop. Here's a hot take from Ben Golliver with the Washington Post. He says it may be worth making a pick that kind of upsets Dame.
All of the best Blazers throughout history have been guys they've drafted and developed, whether it's Bill Walton, Clyde Drexler, Brandon Roy, Damian Lillard. The list goes on. The most successful eras of Portland Trail Blazers basketball have been driven by guys who were taken very high in the lottery.
Again, the draft begins at 5 o'clock this evening at the Barclays Center in New York. This is the start of one of the most pivotal off seasons in Trailblazers history, they say. Whatever they decide could impact the franchise for years to come.
Okay, definitely have to be watching that for sure. Also watching the weather. I mean, it's supposed to actually feel like summer, right?
I'm a basketball fan, so I have to comment real quick.
Just
I think his comments reminds me, though, highlight also the fact that we've been unsuccessful at acquiring big names through free agency.
You have to be reminded.
That's the only reason why our stars have only been the people that we have drafted. That's another way to look at that. Christine, let's talk about the weather. All right, today no issues. Thunderstorms way out here. There's Colorado and up into the Dakotas. We are starting off clear, no marine layer at the coast. I'm not expecting any low clouds or fog this morning. Had areas of that yesterday, you may recall. All right, baby blue skies up top from Cannon Beach, 53 degrees. Beautiful clear skies looking northeast from the top of the Wells Fargo building. 58 is the early morning number. There'll be some breezes at the beach today, but otherwise winds will be fairly light today, including out in the gorge. These are the current numbers. Portland holding 58, Salem 55. The Dalles, good morning to you folks, 50. It's cooler over at the beach. Good morning, Newport, 46 is your early morning number. I want to show you Futurecast, not so much for today, but I want to get into tomorrow. Now, this is later today. It shows southern Oregon Cascades and some action up forming over the Washington Cascades, but nothing expected in our local area. And here we are tomorrow. This is Friday at 2:30. Storms absolutely expected up and down the Cascade Range. And looky here, we have some action popping over the Coast Range and then moving through the Portland area at 5:30. Let me give you a closer look at that. Again, this is tomorrow, 3 o'clock. Here's a shower. It's popped over the Coast Range. Could turn into a thunderstorm with torrential downpours and some hail. Here it is at 5 o'clock, that same cell out over Troutdale. That's a big one. This will be spotty in nature. This could change, but right now forecast models are generally showing the threat here in the North Willamette Valley and up around the Columbia River. That's tomorrow. Okay, here we go. Back to today. Mr. Sunshine. Temperatures well up into the 80s. This shows 88 in Salem today. Yesterday, Portland hit 79, so you're going to notice the warm up today. Battleground 86, Vancouver 87, northeast winds 5 to 15. I've got Portland 87 today, 82 tomorrow with that spotty storm threat later in the day. I'm back to showing a dry weekend, 80, 83, fairly comfortable. I've moved Monday's rain chance into Tuesday, and there's Wednesday, clouds to sunshine.